Good morning. Korea and Vietnam announced a free trade agreement between the two countries in day one of the two-day Korean ASEAN Summit. U.S. President Barack Obama defends the release of a report describing the gruesome torture methods employed by the CIA, while top UN officials call for the prosecution of those involved. Check out the winter scene and slopes at Pocheon, a city in Gyeonggi-do Province just north of Seoul on Korea Discovered. And layering is the way to go this season. Layering and mixing and matching for you guys out there on Korea Today, Thursday, December 11th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. I'm Kim Young alongside Ojin Ju and Kim Min Jung. And wow, are we seeing those Christmas trees out there these days? 'Tis the season.
Only 2 weeks away. Exactly 2 weeks away.
Right, and for the first time in the 66-year history of Korea's National Assembly, a Christmas tree has been set up inside the parliamentary complex, as you can see in this picture.
Semi-tree.
Quite beautiful.
Very nice.
Too. Well, lawmakers had a tough year this year. Lots of locking horns and butting heads. I'm sure they could use the Christmas spirit of loving, giving, and forgiving.
And peace and coordination, perhaps.
That's right. Lots of good stuff all put together.
Right.
And it looks like there was some action with the Christmas band and the choir there as well. Some music in the background to put you in the mood right for the season. And we'll jump to our top story for this Thursday morning. After 2 years and 4 months of negotiations, Korea and Vietnam reached a free trade agreement meant to remove barriers to boost bilateral trade between the two nations. On Wednesday, President Park Geun-hye and Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Thanh Dung made the announcement ahead of the special summit hosted by Park for leaders of the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. Vietnam is Korea's largest investment destination and second largest trading partner among the ASEAN member nations, with Korea's volume of exports to the country hitting $21.8 billion last year. The deal excludes sensitive agricultural products such as rice, garlic, and ginger. Korea's domestic economy is expected to feel relatively limited effects, but the deal is anticipated to help Korea expand its regional trade networks.
Seoul's unification minister has stressed the need for dialogue and cooperation with Pyongyang if Seoul and Washington want to carry out their North Korea policies effectively. Speaking at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C., Unification Minister Ryu Gil-jae underscored the need for the two allies, South Korea and the U.S., to show North Korea what it can gain if it chooses dialogue and cooperation rather than provocation and isolation. Mr. Liu said it is high time for the two countries to seek a variety of creative ways to engage the communist country. He added improving North Korea's human rights situation is a task that Seoul and Washington can no longer put off. He also explained his government's unification policy, saying the trust-building process is going to be a long one aimed at changing the basic structural relations between the two Koreas.
A large gas field with an estimated $10 billion worth of natural gas has been discovered in the East Sea. The Korean National Oil Corporation and the Australian company Woodside Petroleum announced on Wednesday of the discovery, estimated to contain up to 36 million tons. Following failed attempts to find gas in 2012, deep-sea drilling continued in the 6,280 square kilometer area, and further drilling and exploration will continue as signs of more hydrocarbon traces have been detected.
The two-day commemorative summit between Korea and the 10 ASEAN member nations will open later this Thursday in Korea's southern port city of Busan. With ASEAN countries becoming bigger players in the global economy as well as in political and diplomatic aspects, Korea is expected to use this opportunity to strengthen its ties with the region. For more on this year's summit, we connect live to Arirang News' Connie Kim, who is standing by at the venue. Connie, I imagine that last-minute preparations are ongoing in Busan now. How does it look now?
Well, Jinju, security here in Busan is tighter than ever. Now, police are on standby 24/7 in case of any security threats during the event where President Park Geun-hye and 10 ASEAN member nations and also conglomerate CEOs will gather together. Now, and on to how important this year's commemorative summit is, it's actually the 25th anniversary of the establishment of dialogue between South Korea and ASEAN. And since 1989, ASEAN has become South Korea's second largest trading partner and also the number 3 investment destination for South Korean businesses. Now, Seoul's Foreign Affairs Ministry notes that this year's commemorative summit is the most important event and also the first multilateral summit under the Park Geun-hye administration. Now, following yesterday's summit talks between President Park Geun-hye and also the leader of Vietnam and Malaysia, she will also engage in another bilateral talks with 6 ASEAN member nations, and it's during this event where she will discuss Northeast Asia Peace and Cooperation Initiative and also North Korea's nuclear provocations in order to gather support for a reunified Korea, Jinju.
Connie, and you mentioned earlier that this ASEAN bloc is Korea's second largest trading partner, and I understand that the trade volume between Korea and ASEAN member nations, exports and imports put together, stood at $135 billion last year. So this would also be a huge opportunity for Korean companies as well as firms from the ASEAN countries seeking potential business in each other's country.
Well, actually, the first event called the CEO Summit is going to kick off in about 3 hours' time, and in this event, more than 550 business leaders will gather to discuss Asia's role in the global economy, and also what kind of lessons that business leaders can learn from Korea's innovative companies. Now, from Korea's side, conglomerate CEOs from Samsung Electronics, POSCO, and Lotte Group are expected to take place, and alongside with the CEO of AirAsia and also Fortune International, just to name a few. So this CEO Summit is actually going to be a very fertile ground for business leaders to seek future business opportunities, especially during informal networking sessions, Jinju.
So a lot to look forward to in this year's summit. Thank you, Connie, for that, and do update us on the event. That was Idong News' Connie Kim reporting live from Busan on the Korea-ASEAN Summit.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, the National Assembly's 100-day regular session came to an end on Tuesday with less than half of pending bills approved and postponing several thorny issues. Let's take a look at what some of those issues are over on 동아일보 here. And the headline says, reform of public servants' pension delayed. Rival parties agree to inquire into resource diplomacy. If we take a look at the sub-headlines, the items that have been put off until next year include reforming the public officials' pension system and issues surrounding irregularities in the Four Rivers Restoration Project, resource diplomacy, and defense projects conducted under the former Lee Myung-bak administration. The ruling and opposition parties, however, agreed yesterday to hold a special parliamentary inquiry into the overseas resource development projects, as well as form a separate committee to reform the debt-stricken pension program for government employees. Now on to a very hotly debated topic here on 중앙일보 regarding the Chung Yun-ae documents that we have been following. The title says, "Allow me to confront Park Ji-man," and these are words coming from Chung Yun-hye, the President Park Geun-hye's former aide and so-called power broker, strongly requesting a confrontation with Park Ji-man, who is the president's younger brother. The leaking of the confidential document has led many to believe that a power struggle was taking place between the two men, given that Chung has a history of keeping tabs on the brother Park when he was serving as a chief of staff to President Park. And if we look at the sub-headlines here, Chung has denied the charges made against him and has filed counter lawsuits against some of his accusers. Now, he did appear before the public yesterday and stressed his innocence before going in for questioning by prosecutors, which lasted for 16 hours. And on to another issue that's been the talk of town lately as well, this one regarding Cho Yeon-ah, the daughter of Korean Air chairman, and the title says, Korean Air Vice President Cho Yeon-ah steps down. And these are words that she said yesterday. She will take full responsibility for the latest incident and resign from her corporate post. And this comes after the stormy social uproar following Cho's actions over how nuts were served on a Korean air jet carrying some 250 passengers last Friday. The incident, locally named Nut Return, generated heavy public criticism. And yesterday, Cho's father, the company chairman, accepted his daughter's resignation. Now, wrapping up with business news, on to the Korea Economic Daily, to this side story regarding convenience stores. And this one is called Convenience Stores and Scramble to Expand. $100,000 offered to switch store signs. Now, the top two local convenience stores, CU and GS25, are competing for the leading spot in terms of number of shops. So they are granting an offering of $100,000 to get each other's stores to change their store signs. And they are offering such incentives to those shops that are soon to face termination of contracts which have recorded high sales. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Thursday. And following are the stock numbers from Wednesday.
We were supposed to get some snow last night, at least here in Seoul, but that snow became rain,
yep, that's
thankfully.
Right. Because of the warmer temperatures, but it did take a little dip after. We'll get a check on the weather this morning as well as throughout the day with Chun Song-jo, who joins us from midnight, or might as well be, right?
Good evening or good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. I'm reporting live from Yongsan Family Park. It either rained or snowed over the night all around the nation. It already stopped raining over here in the greater Seoul area, but there are still other parts that are receiving scattered drizzles or flurries right now. Roads are still wet and can be very slippery, so slow down when you drive this morning. Precipitation will wind down and stop before midday as the low pressure system in the east moves further away. In the meantime, dry conditions persist around the east coastal regions, mainly in Gyeonggi-do Province. Warnings have been issued by the Korean Meteorological Administration, and they also predict that there's a chance of light yellow dust to affect the west coast in the morning. Now, moving on to temperatures, it doesn't feel as cold right now here in Seoul because of all those rain clouds that are acting like sort of like a blanket, retaining heat underneath. But it'll start getting colder and colder starting today. Wind chill will make temperatures plunge over the weekend with a lot of snow in the forecast. With that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings. Midday highs are slightly lower today in Seoul, just at 1 degree Celsius. The southern regions are looking warmer with highs of 10 in Busan and Jeju. Get ready for brutal winter weather. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to you, Min-jung.
Now, reaction is pouring out after the U.S. Senate revealed some of the torture that was committed by CIA agents in the years following America's 9/11 attacks. For more on this and other global headlines, we'll check in with our Eunice Kim at the News Center. Good morning to you, Eunice.
Good morning.
It seems like there's a lot of dismay and anger both in and outside the U.S.
That's right, Min-jung. Washington being pounded by criticism from countries like China, Afghanistan, and even North Korea. And ally Great Britain's Prime Minister David Cameron underlined that torture is always wrong. The current White House is distancing itself from the brutal ways of the CIA agents as well under the Bush administration between the years 2002 and 2006. White House spokesman Josh Earnest hours ago said the conclusion then President Barack Obama reached is that one of America's most powerful tools, its moral authority, has taken a hit with the use of the documented brutal techniques. Now, soon after the release of the 525-page Senate summary, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Counterterrorism and Human Rights, Ben Emerson, while praising the U.S. for following through with this release despite heavy political pressures not to, he called on the U.S. to hold justice against the wrongdoers according to international law. Many others joined in that call, but so far, there is no indication from the White House for follow-up action. On to other news now. Hong Kong police are set to begin clearing out the remaining protest sites starting today, potentially marking an end to the sit-ins that have stopped traffic for more than 10 weeks now. The clearance would include the main camp in Admiralty near the government headquarters. Notices were put up on Tuesday afternoon urging protesters to leave voluntarily, while warning that authorities could not promise there would be no confrontations. While some were seen packing up to leave, other protesters, including student leader Alex Chow, vowed to return Thursday morning while committing to wage non-violent protest. Demonstrators had been pushing the city's leadership to challenge Beijing's hand in its politics, starting with the coming chief executive polls in 2017.
And lastly, around this time of the year, Time magazine selects the person or the persons who made a significant impact for better or for worse. And this year's contenders included the likes of the Ferguson protesters and Russian President Vladimir Putin. But this time it went to a different group of people.
That's right. This year, Time gave its Person of the Year honor to the men and women fighting on the front lines of the Ebola outbreak, beating out finalists Apple CEO Tim Cook, American pop star Taylor Swift, and also NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Now, the magazine is issuing 5 different covers this time, featuring 5 different individuals symbolizing those on the front lines, including Liberian surgeon Dr. Jerry Brown and American missionary Dr. Kent Brantley. Now, it applauded the bravery and commitment of healthcare workers and caregivers who it said were willing to stand and fight the epidemic so that the rest of the world can sleep at night. It also said Ebola revealed the global health service was not ready for this war. And an update, Minjung, to date, Ebola has killed more than 6,300 people out of 17,800 cases, though we must add a lot of progress has been made in Liberia and Guinea thanks to the selfless and tireless work of this year's Persons of the Year.
There have been some controversial decisions in the past, but I think this time few people would disagree on this selection. They're really the heroes of the world.
And we applaud them as well.
Thank you, Eunice, for that.
You bet.
Well, stay with us on Korea Today. We'll check out the winter scene and slopes at Pocheon, a city in Gyeonggi-do Province, just north of Seoul. Then fill your stomach with the city's signature Idong Galbi barbecue before seeing more of the breathtaking sights. Joy Mercadante has the details on Korea Discovered.
About 30 years ago in the early 1980s, a unique performance was created that involves traditional Korean dance as well as music. And apparently it is back for another run. It's called Madang Nori, and Madang literally can mean the front yard or the yard, and Nori play. So joining us is Im Yoon-hee to tell us all about this. Good morning.
Good morning. So Madang Nori was first shown in 1981, and it's the brainchild of acclaimed producer Son Jin-chaek. Now Madang Nori is about a blind father, an evil stepmother, and of course a courageous daughter. But when it was first shown, it was met with enormous success. However, in 2010, the producer decided to stop showing all performances, not due to lack of requests. However, this year they have decided to bring back the performance with the original cast and a 21st century twist. Check it out.
For 3 generations, it's developed a reputation as Korea's national performance. From dancing in bright, colorful dresses to parading around with others, Madang Nori invites the people of Korea to join in on the different forms of traditional folk entertainment. Here, the lines are blurred between the audience and the cast. Madangnori disappeared 4 years ago, but now it's come back with more humor and entertainment than ever before. After all, Madangnori means a place to play, and that's precisely what everyone here intends on doing.
We're always curious about the reactions we'll get, whether it be a question or a comment. As we pass people in the audience, they might pat us on the arms or say, "Oh, there goes Baengdeok." Or maybe they'll say, "Why couldn't you do it?" Or "Baengdeok, you're such a terrible person." So we always have to consider the lively spontaneity of Madangnori while acting.
There are 4 sides to our stage, so the attention has to be distributed to all sides. And when we toss the lines, we have to really throw it. So instead of father, it needs to be father. How do you do? Each line needs to be clearly thrown like that.
Madangnori has now entered the stage. For what was once a performance of the streets, the transition to a formal stage requires a bit of rehearsal. The entire show relies on the consistent rhythm that carries throughout, uniting the 3 resident families of the National Theatre of Korea. The National Orchestra, the National Dance Company, and of course, the National Changguk Company. The 3 companies come together on a single stage, each contributing its strengths and unique abilities. Together, they create a box, a 4-sided box, ready to house the performance and the audience into one show where each and every individual can share the experience as a member of this community.
With the idea of community in mind, we didn't want it to be another regular show for the viewers. It involves a lot of communication with the audience, and there's a reason for that. Since it's on a stage, we still wanted to facilitate the communication between everyone. So we built the 4 sides and backed each with banners to create our own space. We also incorporated the use of projectors with the banners so that everyone can be together in the experience. Through this setup, we get a lot more variety and freedom to create that tension between the audience and cast.
The pure-hearted Shim-chung makes the ultimate sacrifice and gives up her life to the lake so that her father can regain his vision. And because of her love for her father, she is saved and blossoms with the beautiful lotus flower in a place where the past is met with the present. A place where the loving, selfless acts go on to do more than anyone had imagined as Shim-chung comes to save the day.
Performances involving a wire as well. Now, we did hear the producer, Son Jin-check, talk about how he wanted to establish that communication between the performers and the audience, just like in real Madangnori. Now, Madangnori actually takes place usually in front of a town square or a big yard, and anyone can be involved, including myself, if I'm there as a member of the audience.
Exactly. So they really wanted to hold on to that core value of it being a performance for the people when they took it to the theater. So if you go, there are 80 cast members from the 3 different companies, but of course the audience plays a huge role in this performance. They said without the audience it wouldn't be what it is, and so it's a very large-scale performance that I think everyone can enjoy.
Well, when you think of theatrical performances, then the first thing, especially around this time of the year, around Christmas and the holidays, the first thing a lot of people think about is the Nutcracker, and of course Korea has 2 different versions of that that's going to play around the time of Christmas. Might be playing right now, but this might be a viable option to do something a bit more traditional.
Right, they're actually going for that. They said that they want to offer another option for families to spend time with their families and to see the holiday season. And so this is a show that is very family friendly, that everybody enjoys, and so it's a perfect time for everyone to go and check out. But really, if you go there, it's just such a fun experience. There's just so much going on. There are so many different musicians playing, so many different acts going on, so many people just moving, and then you're always being drawn into the performance. And because of the setup with the 4 different sides around the stage, you know, you really feel like you're in that community. Right, it's a community. You really feel like you're part of that show, and you really feel like you're not watching a show at all. It's just kind of, you know, a little activity that you're participating in. So a lot of fun.
So you're basically out there in the yard really watching
Exactly.
마당놀이,
It's a true
but
마당놀이.
not in the blistering cold, right?
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much, Uni, for that report.
Always a pleasure.
Now, stay with us on Korea Today because we'll be looking at some of the winter fashion, this time for men. Now, this is a good way to recycle some of your old autumn gear. Layering is the key. So if you want to look good, all you have to do is know how to layer and know how to mix and match. Vests, down jackets, mustangs, cardigans. You'll not only feel warm, you'll look great too. So learn how to layer on K-Style.
And some exciting news for all you party people out there. Dubbed the best party in the world, Super Marseille from Spain is coming to Korea later this month.
The best party in the world. Wow, I'm interested now. It's the first time this event is being held in Asia, and tens of thousands of electronic dance music lovers are expected to attend. So maybe you could check it out also. All right, we'll check in with our Somi Sorang, who joins us right here in the studio. Good morning. Are you going to the party?
Well, let's first see the video. But tens of thousands, it's going to be a huge party. Now, Super Marseille Korea will be held in 2 cities, one night in Busan and another night in Ilsan. And at both locations, the party will be divided into 2 parts. So first, a lineup of world-renowned DJs will get things going with the latest electronic dance music, followed by the main show, which is this spectacular performance that brings together elements of circus, magic, burlesque dancing, and so on. So it's going to be 2 nights of crazy all-night partying. The dates are December 27th in Busan and 31st in Ilsan. So what do you guys think, the video?
We should go to
Ilsan.
I cannot dance like that, period.
But the one in Ilsan will be a New Year's Eve party.
Right, because it's held 31st.
Right. And I heard that some big names will be DJing there.
So from overseas, we have DJ Amelie, Joey Dale, and Ab Garcia, to name a few. But from Korea, we have Gu Junyeop and Bang Myung-soo coming as well.
Bang Myung-soo,
yeah, so they'll actually have a little competition to see who's better.
Why is this funny that Bang Myung-soo will be
DJing quite a lot these days.
My bet's on Gu Junyeop as well.
What else?
On to another event that's coming up. Various Korean businesses will be holding their own Black Friday tomorrow. So these 10 businesses, major retail outlets, 11th Street, CJ Mall, Lotte.com, and so on, they'll be offering a range of products at 50% off, or as well as other various promotional events.
Right, time to do some shopping.
Definitely. Now, meanwhile, over in the States, Billboard.com sat down with Group Beast and asked them a few questions about their 5-year career so far. Beast, now they had a particularly fruitful year this year, receiving a record 19 first-place wins from various K-pop music charts, including 10 for the song Good Luck and 8 for the song 1230. When Billboard asked them what they learned in their 5 years since debut, Beast said that time is precious and that they cannot thank their fans enough for supporting and listening to their music.
As you mentioned, Good Luck and 1230, I've been seeing those 2 songs in the K-pop charts a lot.
Definitely major hits this year. And because of their success this year, they're widely expected to win various few awards at the upcoming end-of-year music awards ceremonies. And for the Beast fans out there, if you want to check out the rest of the interview video, they're available online at billboard.com. Now, wrapping up, I have some interesting survey results about arguments in a marriage. So, Min-jung, you might know
I'm
a few
all
things.
ears on this one.
Right. So, the survey asked over 500 divorced men and women whether they thought arguing made the relationship better. So, does it actually leave, slowly but surely make the relationship worse, or does it actually work things out and actually make the relationship more solid? What do you guys think? What do you think, Min-jung?
I'll let you finish the story before I get to my opinion.
All right, well, according to the survey, the answer depended on who you asked. So, the majority of men said no, it actually made things worse. But look at this, over 70% of women, they said it actually made things better.
See, women are such optimists and men are so pessimistic. I think it only makes the relationship stronger, but I'm a woman, so maybe you can ask Young again later on in the show.
I guess it depends on how you argue.
Right.
Which brings to the next point. The next question was, what are some things that you need to remember so that the argument doesn't leave a permanent dent in the relationship? So the number one response was don't cross the line, followed by don't keep grudges, don't bring up the past, and don't bring in other people.
I think
Bringing up the past.
don't drop the D bomb, the divorce bomb. Don't say let's
Never,
get a divorce. It's the last resort.
It is.
Shouldn't be brought up in any argument, I think.
True.
And that is really crossing the line, isn't it?
Right. Thank you so much, Misorang.
You're
Learned
welcome.
quite a few things there.
From a single person. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
And a good Thursday morning to you all as we kick things off with the Korean national football team as head coach Uli Stilke held a press conference on Wednesday, capping off a busy week of speaking in front of press members. And the latest press conference, manager Uli Stilke talked about the week-long training session in Jeju that's set to begin on December 15th. Then a roster consisting of just players from the domestic league and players who play in China and Japan. The 60-year-old made it loud and clear that he'll only choose those that are passionate and hungry to play in the upcoming Asian Cup in January. Meanwhile, the national team is seeking its first Asian Cup trophy since 1960 and has been paired with the host Australia, Kuwait, and Oman in Group A. Now, staying in football, Queen's Park Rangers owner and president of AirAsia, Tony Fernandez, was in Seoul on Wednesday to reveal a tribute plane for Park Ji-sung, which reads, "Thank you, Captain Park," across the plane. And of course, during the press conference, Tony Fernandez continued to show interest in bringing in Korean talents to the Queen's Park Rangers by announcing that they're set to sign 2 more Korean players during the January transfer window. Now, he hasn't hinted on who they may be, as Yoon Suk-young is the lone Korean on the team at the moment. And of course, the AirAsia president wasn't shy about criticizing the recent Korean Air controversy when he stated that he'll serve the popular honey butter chips sealed in bag and soju during AirAsia flights. Now, shifting over to baseball, SK Wyverns ace Kim Kwang-hyun is set to get married this coming Sunday, but there's another big date looming as the deadline for the contract negotiations with the San Diego Padres is about 24 hours away. Now, once the SK Wyverns accepted the $2 million posting fee, the two sides were given 30 days to complete a deal. And while the deadline is set for 7 a.m. Friday Korea time, both sides seem rather optimistic in completing a deal. Now, according to the Padres official, Kim Kwang-hyun has already taken a medical, but are still in what they call the wait-and-see mode. And now finishing things off with the 2020 Summer Games in Tokyo, where with the Agenda 2020 being passed, it's likely that baseball will return to the Olympics, but some changes are being considered for the sport as well. And the two changes that are being considered, the first is the idea of having 7-inning baseball games instead of the usual 9 innings, adding that having 9-inning games will be too long. At the same time, the idea of having only amateur players compete in the Olympics is being tossed around, as well as SoftBank Hawks president and Japanese home run king Sadaharu Oh came out recently agreeing with the ideas. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Ask Young about that question.
The answer is no, and I don't want to argue about this, Min Jung.
Okay, fine.
Now, you know, I used to think that arguing really does, but sometimes just not saying anything about anything, that's just sometimes the better way to go.
Arguments make a relationship stronger or weaker?
Sometimes it does, but I think
Men
after too much
same.
arguing, it can really tear apart the relationship, right? Joining us is Joey Mercadante to talk more about relationships. No, we're talking about a special place. We're talking about Pocheon, as well as you went on a snowboarding excursion as well, right?
I did.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Snowboarding, skiing, yes. And if you are an enthusiast of winter sports, you should watch this next report on Pocheon in the Gyeonggi-do Province. I've got lots of great stuff for you, winter activities to do. And you know, it's time to embrace, celebrate, or just accept that it's winter time. So, I mean, let's see what fun we can have in winter. And we'll see that right now in my next report. Geographically, Pocheon is located around the middle of the Korean peninsula. It's just north of Seoul, but the scenery is a bit different with its thick forests that line picturesque valleys. Pocheon's natural environment portrays their city motto well, O2, or Oxygen City. Our first stop on this getaway, the snow-covered slopes at a ski resort in Pocheon.
Is that you?
No. I'm skiing.
Woohoo! Check out this snow. It's official. Winter is here, and I get to celebrate the beginning of it by doing one of the best things possible to do during the winter time.
I made my way to the rental shop at the resort and got all the gear I needed to ski. Like most places, they have gear you can rent, but they also have ski wear as well.
Ta-da! How do I look? Pretty good, right? I'm ready to go!
From the lifts, it was amazing just to watch the skiers and boarders on the slopes. And the view, 1.4 million square meters for us.
It's my first time skiing this winter. Everybody feels nervous the first time, and this is my first time going up, so I'm worried. Did I forget how to ski? Can my body handle it?
And now, time for my first run today. It was a huge rush, cutting through the wind, carving my way down the slopes, and I had my share of tumbles too.
I fell down.
I'm impressed with the producer who's filming you.
You know what? That's part of
On a
skiing.
snowboard.
You fall down, but you get back up.
Now that little spill wasn't going to stop me. I still had hours left to ski on powder. Plus, it was great exercise, and it really warms you up quick.
Yeah! That was amazing!
And one of the best treats of spending time outdoors, deliciously warm drinks and snacks. And I chose homuk, or fish cakes, in a warm broth.
Only the best. You're shivering, Joey.
Now that I'm here, it really feels like winter because you see all the snow and you get to snowboard.
I got to slide down the slope and ride really fast. It was a new experience that I enjoyed and felt like I got rid of a lot of stress.
Now, like I said earlier, that homuk was just a snack because I was in for a special treat, the signature food of Pocheon, Idong Galbi. Now, this galbi is named after where it was first made, Idong-myeon, or Idong Township in Pocheon. Among all the places in Idong Galbi village, the fusion one is pretty popular these days.
So juicy and rich flavor. I think the chefs here are the best.
These beef short ribs are really marinated to perfection.
이동갈비랑 수원갈비랑 다른 점은 이제 이동갈비는 이런 간장 양념이고 수원갈비는 소금 양념.
The restaurant owner's family has been in the Idong Galbi business for a while, and the owner is a wine connoisseur, so he combined the best of both worlds, creating a fusion version of Idong Galbi by maturing the short ribs in wine for 240 hours.
It looks so good.
It is so good.
Huh? A pizza.
같이 이렇게 그냥 이렇게요?
네, 넣어서 드셔보세요.
오.
What?
So the way to enjoy this fusion-style Idong Galbi, eat it with the pizza or with the French fries, along with this version of naengmyeon, a cold noodle dish.
I was also advised to try some of this delicious galbi with these cold spaghetti
Actually,
noodles.
he called it spaghetti, so yes.
Was it good?
It was very good.
Quality and a fusion of taste that I wouldn't have imagined, but I'm so happy that
I'll
I
be
tried.
honest. I sat at that same exact seat sometime back, about 3 months ago.
And you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was very good.
Okay, so this is our last attraction, Herb Island. And we saved it for last because, well, the entire place is lit up with beautiful, colorful, bright lights. It's pretty on film, but you have to really go there to appreciate what it's like to walk through endless rows of these lights.
What did he say?
No, I don't think Santa will know.
The best present you're ever gonna get. Christmas with Joey Mercadante.
Where's my gift, Santa?
If you're a big fan of Christmas, well, you should check out this Santa Village. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! They're holding a special event for the winter holidays. Visitors can take part in different activities here, like decorating mini Christmas trees, candlesticks, and a lot of other crafts. Ta-da! Just in time for Christmas. Are you in the Christmas spirit? Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas, everyone! What an amazing experience it's been here at Pocheon City. I have enjoyed my time here and all of my adventures, but this last one has left me in the holiday spirit. And I think you should come to Pocheon City and experience this winter wonderland yourself. You won't regret it. Happy holidays, everyone. Ho, ho, ho!
You certainly got the voice down, I think.
Do I?
Santa voice.
I played Santa. I've been Santa a few times.
I think
It's already
you're too
Christmas.
skinny for a Santa.
Yeah, well.
I should be the Santa.
And you brought the Christmas tree.
Right.
I did.
Bringing in the Christmas vibe in the studio.
What do you think? You like it?
Yeah,
Well,
we
I
like
gotta
it.
say though, it pales in comparison to the one at the National Assembly that we mentioned.
But I like this one better
This
because
one's
it was made
portable,
by
so it
Joey.
has that advantage.
So apart from making these mini Christmas trees,
Yeah.
I heard that there were other activities offered at the Herb Island.
Yes, one of the main ones is that you can actually make food. So like preservatives, jams, and jellies using the herbs that you can find at the village. And then of course, during the holidays, you can make trees, you can make Christmas wreaths, you can decorate candles, make your own candles as well. And one of the really special things is that you can write a Christmas card out and put it in the mail, and it will be delivered to your loved one on Christmas Eve by Santa Claus himself.
Wow.
Well, I don't know about that part, but it will be delivered on Christmas Eve.
That's a
for sure.
controversial statement that
Yeah,
you made.
I realized that as I said it. There'll be a lot of disappointed kids. So.
Yeah, there's different types of galbis here in Korea. There's seoul galbi, which are you really supposed to stand up and have seoul galbi?
Beats me.
Okay, and Idong Galbi, which Idong I thought it meant to be on the move, but it's actually talking about this area, Idong. So how was that Idong Galbi, especially with the fusion twist to it all?
It was very delicious, as I mentioned earlier, and you've tried it as well. So
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
you
good.
you can also verify that it was I'm not just saying it for the camera. It was fantastic. And Idong Galbi in Pocheon is already famous, and it's been famous there for quite a while. So I think that the business owners have now got a little bit bored and are starting to get more creative, and
Or differentiate among each other.
They exactly. So they've started to create these fusion dishes. Now the restaurant that I visited, the owner really took pride in the fusion dishes that he created, the Western style, the pizza. I enjoyed the pizza the most. It was a cheese pizza with some mushrooms, and it was just it was just that slight different taste. The galbi was delicious, but adding just those small elements just made it more special. So yeah, I really liked it, and I really recommend it.
All right, and we saw you, of course, on the slopes, and I believe you're from Canada.
Yes.
But it was you learned to ski in Korea.
Can you believe that?
Explain to us how this is possible.
I know. I mean, most people don't believe me when I tell them, but yeah, I had never been skiing in Canada.
Really?
So my first time ever skiing was at Bearstown, where I went, and I learned to ski. I was a natural, by the way. I made it down my first time, and I learned to ski in Korea, and I love it. And I love it, and I keep going back. And what's great about places like the ski resort in Pocheon, Bearstown, is that it's so close. I mean, a 50-minute drive. That's all it really is. And what's great about skiing in general in Korea is that every major city has got one of these ski resorts nearby within an hour.
Joey, you never fail to surprise me. It's like you were born in Korea, but had kimchi for the first time in Canada.
That's pretty much
Yeah, that's a good analogy. And night skiing is also available at Pocheon, the ski resort in Pocheon.
That's correct. So on weekdays, the night ski go until midnight. And on weekends, it goes until 4 a.m. Now, on weekdays, I think we can do this, and I recommend we do this. Since we have our day, after the show, we've got our days off. So on weekdays, we can head up there and receive huge discounts on the ski lift and ski rentals, 60 to 70% off. So what do you say?
Wow, well, you have to teach me how to ski first. If that's a deal, that's a deal.
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
I would love to. You can learn from me, who's only been skiing for 3 months, a year. Let's just say a year.
But you're a natural, so.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much, Joey.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Joey.
Guy with an eye for fashion, you know what kind of style seems to be in this season. For men, it's the layered look. This winter, it's all about the layers and not just one very thick, puffy jacket. It's an easy way to rev up your style and show off a unique look because everyone's going to layer differently. Now here's what to keep in mind. Layer with different materials. A quilted jacket with a padded vest, or a herringbone double-breasted coat paired with a quilted vest. It may sound odd, but it looks good. And this layering doesn't end with outerwear, it includes innerwear too.
The point of this winter's layered style is to mix and match different materials for a casual yet romantic look. I would say some of the key items to use are denim shirts, knit sweaters, herringbone jackets, and duck-down vests.
With the popular response to the layered look, this store saw a huge jump in thinner, lighter innerwear such as knit tops and cardigans. Normally, lighter clothing wouldn't be as popular in this cold weather, but now customers are able to layer them, pulling off a casual but classy look. Cardigans under quilted jackets, a conservative coat paired with something patterned and fun.
Since it's winter, a lot of knitted items are selling well, the most popular of which are round necks, turtlenecks, and cardigans. They're warm, and they can be used in coordinating many different looks that are cool and in style.
Different materials, unique pairings. Layering is not only styling, it keeps you warm too. We'll break it down for you on K-Style.
Now, we just saw how to layer to look cool, and I'm going to show you how to layer to look like a grandpa. But we're going to put something over this. We're going to start out with the simple cardigan. I'm wearing this right now. It's been suggested to me by some of our stylists. And once we start layering, you'll see how the transformation takes place. Joining us is Jennifer Kim to tell us more about that. Good morning.
Good morning. I think you both look great today, first
SJ
of all.
looks like a hunter.
He's 30% done, and I'm about 80% done, right? I'm still not done with the layering.
You'll be ready by the end of this segment.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I really like what you're wearing today. What Young is wearing is a button-down shirt with a tie and a light knit sweater with a color. So one tip is that for men, you can actually switch it up so that you're wearing a basic knit on top of a little bit more colorful inside or a patterned shirt so that it looks a little bit more casual.
Okay, because you know, these days the drama misang is, everyone's talking about it these days. I look like one of the bosses there, you know, walking in for a cup of coffee or something. So can we go with the layering process?
Okay, so, well...
First.
Okay. For SJ, I think the quilted vest is something that is coming in right now. It's something that you see with a lot of workers here in Korea. They wear sort of a fitted silhouette with a just simple quilted vest. It's a little bit different from the regular vest though. It does make you look a little bit more casual and dressed down.
You know, I like it because, like you said, it does kind of look casual, but it's not too casual, so it's kind of stiff, right? It still kind of looks very modern, and I like it.
Okay, so we usually call this the padding, right? And this is the padding vest that goes on top of like a quilt.
Well, no, this is the quilted vest, actually.
Oh, this is a quilted
There's
vest.
a padded vest separately, a padded coat that you'll be trying on afterwards. But for SJ, the way that you would layer a quilted vest is actually to put another coat on top of it.
Another coat on top of that.
Another coat. It sounds a bit much,
Let's
but
make that choice.
For all of our viewers, I already have 4 layers on right now, so this is going to be my 5th
nice
layer.
and warm, right? This is your 5th layer, but it's actually not too much when you put it on. It's actually quite stylish because it's a thin woolen coat that you wear on top of the quilted vest. And it does give you that functionality at the same time.
Wow, I can't believe
And when
this
you go
all
inside,
fits.
you can simply just take it off. And you've still got that entire look going on.
Wouldn't you be a little bit worried about being a little bit too large, like you're wearing an Arctic jacket or something? Can you even do that? Can you get your hands
There
back
we go.
there? Okay, there.
We've got it on now.
Oh, it doesn't look bad, actually. It looks good.
And there are 2 basic points that I want to give, though. First of all, if you're wearing a fitted and kind of thick inside, like what SJ is wearing now, you want to go for something that is a little bit thinner on top. So nothing that's padded on top, but a little bit of balance.
SJ, show us your model pose. Do your little model pose there.
Your trademark model pose.
Okay,
Ooh, SJ.
And the second tip is for color. So you don't want to go for colors that clash too much. So you might have to study your color wheel a little bit, but complementary and contrasting colors go well together. And you can just rummage through your own outfits, your wardrobe at home, and just make it easy.
I mean, these are very simple colors, monotone and very simple. And I think age doesn't really matter. You know, you might be in the 20s, the 30s. And I think I could even give this to my father, who's in his 50s right now.
Then your father would be considered a very stylish man, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that would be he has
a very
really
stylish son. You know?
Yeah, it's all about the accessorizing.
Yeah. All right, so we had like the long coats, right? And then what are we going to do next with some of the cardigans as well as the long coats? But there's a way to mix and match that, right?
Okay, so why don't we go on to you, Young, what you're wearing at the moment. I've chosen a padded coat to put on top of that because it's going to add a little bit of a layer of volume to your look.
Do I need any more volume? I think I have enough volume.
It's not too volumed, but it's a nice knit.
Use less volume,
This is the hard part, putting in your other arm.
A bit clumsy putting on it. Okay,
so nice.
It actually is okay. I think the good thing about padded is that it gives you a little bit of a casual but also formal look at the same time. So I thought it would be good for your lifestyle.
So
you can function in and out of the everyday look. And also, if you just wear a classical cardigan, another look that's really hot is wearing a little bit more of a modern style trench coat, which is really in at the moment.
Oh, can I try that one on too? Do I put that one over this one too?
It might be a bit too much. You might be sweating.
You know, there's a huge difference between just wearing that and wearing a coat over it.
From Mr. Rogers to stylish.
Completes the look. And this one is a really nice classical European style trench coat.
I like it, I like it.
So that is a fun way to dress up your outfits. And the colors of the moment are exactly what SJ and Young are wearing. Khakis, neutral greens, burgundies, and the greys and navies never go out of fashion. Now, to accessorize your looks, we've got some bags here as well. And I thought that a casual bag would suit possibly, with the previous coat, it might have suited a little bit better.
It looks like a middle school student. You're not going through a midlife crisis. You're going back to middle school.
Yes, it would have probably suited if you're wearing this one. So.
I know kids in my neighborhood who wear that to school.
My son has the same uniform.
This is why you don't leave it up to Young to choose his coat.
Is this my bag?
Yes, it's a tote bag. So it can look formal and a little businessy at the same time.
Can you hold it in another way so it doesn't look so awkward?
Carry it like
where's
you're
your
carrying
model
just a regular
poses?
bag, not selling the
I
bag.
will carry it like this, to be honest with you. But,
Okay, well, it's not just these two guys here, but Joey also loves to layer. So why don't we check out the way that he has
Okay, now this man is going to destroy it for all of us because, I mean, he actually does model. So there you go. Now he just accentuates how short I really am and how short and stubby I am compared to everyone else.
Well,
so.
all of us, Young, all of us.
But you're not stubby as me, so.
Okay, so for Joey, he's wearing a windbreaker inside.
Yeah, this is so he's wearing more of what in Korea we call that a yasang, but it has sort of a military flair, right?
It's a
The
military
olive colors.
look, and this is in at the moment. And he's layered it because it's thin. These are sort of fall, kind of spring type of items, but nothing is seasonal for layering. And he's added a padded coat on top in that beautiful, trendy green color. And I've noticed that you're holding a pink box as well.
I have something for you, actually.
Oh, right. What's going on?
Surprise, but what's in it?
a nice pink romantic box for you.
Maybe you can explain
wow,
why.
what's that?
Is it a scarf?
It is a scarf, yes.
He just wants me to hold on to another gift or something.
Let's have a
look at
look.
that.
Scarves are pretty essential for this look as well, wouldn't you agree?
Such a stylista. Very good. Why don't we put it on Young?
I mean, are we gonna have like a clash of colors, or maybe too much?
Actually,
well, the point is that you can style your items all together, but
Dad,
just
I'm
make
going to
sure
school now.
You look like a boss now.
Match.
You look like a mom boss.
Had you followed her instructions.
Someone silence this man way over to the right. Okay?
Listen to women when they style you. Had you followed her instructions, you would look top notch right now. This jacket is not really working for you.
Okay, so I think that's the best piece of advice that we have today. Listen to your woman when they style you, right?
All right, looking good, guys. You look perfect, except for that lint on your coat, too.
The lint? That's actually the part of the look there.
All right, well, looking good, guys. Thank you so much. All right, well, this is where we say goodbye on this Thursday morning.
We'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow on Friday. Why don't you use some of those layering tips today to stay warm? Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.